What is going on, everybody? I hope you're all having an amazing day. I'm Jacob, and in this video, I'm going to go over my portfolio, particularly how it performed over the past month, and also share with you all of the dividends that I earned over the past month as well. If you're new here, I do this every single month to give you complete transparency into what it's actually like to have a dividend-focused portfolio. Not every one of my holdings is dividend-focused, but most of them are, and I am on a journey to build some passive income with the goal to increase that year over year. So hopefully one day I can be financially free. And I hope that these videos inspire you to do the same. So without further ado, let's jump right into it here. Right now, this portfolio is valued at $39,194. Total dividends earned so far since the portfolio inception is $3,200. And looking at the market gain, this is going to be a combination of dividends earned plus the capital gain appreciation from the stock price itself. So that's going to be $11,600. And from a money weighted return perspective, that's about 85%. And looking at the last month specifically, we had a total market gain of about $1,700, which is a money weighted return of just over 4%. So if we look at the trend line over the past month, we started out really strong in early August. It kept going up, and we actually eclipsed the $40,000 mark, which is pretty cool actually. I don't know what it is about multiples of 10, but it does seem like sort of a little milestone once you do cross multiples of 10. But then here in early September, the portfolio actually dipped quite a bit. So September is off to a little rocky start, but overall, over the past month, it hasn't been too bad. So when we look at some of the holdings here in this particular portfolio, here I have my holdings broken down into different pies. They call it here in M1 Finance. So the ETF pie, for example, I have ETFs in here that closely follow the S&P 500. So generally, I like to use this pie as my benchmark. So for the past month, it's about 3.88%. So if I look at something like technology, for example, they went up about 2%. So they actually underperformed the market average, or at least the average of what I would expect in this portfolio. Conversely, a sector like finance performed quite well, up over 7%. Pretty much the same deal with healthcare. They had a pretty good month as well. And we can see that industrials is just in the red here a little bit, but they performed the worst. And if we click into here, we can just see some of the holdings. So for the most part, these were actually in the green, but there is one that was more so in the red than others, and it has a higher weight as well. So in this case, that was Genuine Parts Company. And then just checking out healthcare real quick, a company like Eli Lilly, for example, is really pulling this pie up because they increased about 14% in the past month. I think they have some weight loss drugs that are doing pretty well, so I think that's part of the reasoning. But for the most part, it looks like the average for the others is just over 4%. So Eli Lilly is a bit of an outlier, but overall, very pleased with their performance. And just taking a peek at the finance pie as well, we have Aflac, again, skewing pretty much this pie in this portfolio. They were up almost 11% over the past 30 days, while others like BlackRock and JP Morgan up 3% and 6% respectively. So fairly good month for finance, I would say as well. All right, so let's check out what you guys probably care about the most, and that's going to be the dividends. First off, we got paid $4.81 from AT&T. I got to be honest, I'm not super bullish on telecom. I really haven't been for the past couple of years. In general, they're just not very high growth companies. Yes, some of them do pay a higher dividend yield, but generally, if you look at the stock performance of companies like AT&T, Verizon, over the long term, the growth really just hasn't been there. And if I sell anything out of my portfolio, the next one I'm definitely going to sell is going to be AT&T. I just don't see too much long-term value in it. So I guess we'll see where that one goes. But next up is a company that I actually really enjoy, and that's Costco. They paid out $1.47 in dividends. And I really like this company because it seems to be pretty popular regardless of the economic situation. So like right now, for example, prices are up, inflation's really high, And so consumers like to go to places where stuff is generally cheaper. You look at stores like Costco, Sam's Club, and for the most part, Costco itself has been a high growth stock, so the price has increased quite a bit, but their dividend yield is a bit on the lower side. But very pleased with this company so far. Next up is $4.26 from Texas Instruments. Then we move into Enterprise Product Partners, which is a midstream oil and gas company. And they have a fairly high dividend yield, which is why they paid out $26.21 this month. So a pretty massive dividend from this company. Share price hasn't seen amazing growth, but certainly better than something like AT&T. So next is Ally Financial, and they paid out 63 cents. Then we go into AbbVie, another pharmaceutical company. They paid $6.43. $4.55 came in from Procter & Gamble. Seems like Procter & Gamble makes a lot of different stuff. Their name's on almost every consumer product. Not that interesting of a company, but in the investment world, especially for a lot of companies that pay out dividends, they generally aren't that interesting. And a lot of people think of that being a good thing, so however you perceive that. But next is going to be Realty Income Corp, and this is actually a monthly paying dividend company. They focus on commercial real estate, so they actually purchase properties that companies like Walgreens rent from them, and they do pay those dividends out monthly. So we got $6.26 this month. Next, we move into Colgate. Very much like Procter & Gamble, you can find their name on almost any household product, and they paid out $2.38. Then we go into National Retail Properties. Very much like Realty Income Corp, but these guys pay out quarterly as opposed to monthly, and they paid out $10.66. Stag Industrial is next. They paid out $2.67. Then we go into Apple. And here in M1 Finance, there's actually two payments, but the total is $3.21. Then we go into Caterpillar, $1.06. Fastenal, another industrial company, $3.42 is what they paid out. And then last, to round everything off, from SPHD, this is an ETF, and they paid $6.61. So when we add everything up for the month of August, the total dividend income amounts to $84.53. So a slight increase from this time last year. But overall, I think we're on track to hit $1,000 in dividend income for 2024. But one thing I did want to show you guys here in case you are interested is I actually do calculate the wages I would be earning from the most recent 3 months of dividend income. I just project them out over a year and then break them down by monthly, weekly, daily, and hourly wages. Just kind of an interesting thing to see what you actually are earning from a dividend perspective. So right now we're getting about $988 every year just from dividends. If I break this down into an hourly wage from a 40-hour work week, so think of your standard 9-to-5 job, currently we're earning 48 cents every single hour. And I know this may not seem like a lot. To some of you it is, to some of you maybe not so much. But for me personally, it's really motivating because this amount is just going to keep compounding from companies increasing their dividends year after year, me reinvesting the dividends that I earn back into the portfolio, and then doing my best to invest in the portfolio every single month. So that's going to wrap up the video. Thank you all so much for taking the time to check it out. Let me know down in the comments below how much you earned this month in dividend income. I'd be really interested to hear what you guys got. Also, if you did enjoy the video, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. I would really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. Take it easy, and I'll catch you in the next one.